Raise your hand if in high school you knew exactly where you were going, you knew exactly what you wanted to do with the rest of your life, and you knew it. Raise your hand. Oh, I'm so thankful and grateful for you, and I'm a little jealous if I'm honest. But I had no idea. When I was in high school, I was, dabbling in some things. I was in choir and drama, and I had, played the marching band life a little, and I even got into home ec, which I don't even think they offer that these days, just to see if I was into the culinary arts world, and that just didn't speak to me. So I didn't know. I was just kind of rolling with the waves, and seeing where the waters took me. I didn't even know whether my prom dress was going to be strapless or had spaghetti straps, much less what was going on the rest of my life. So I was just going. When I was a junior in high school, I turned 18. And my parents, for my birthday, they got me a ticket to go see my boyfriend at the time, who had moved to Buffalo, New York. I was so excited because it was like my first time to go on an adult trip. It was very exciting. A few days before I was supposed to leave, there was an awful snowstorm that was coming through, or going to be coming through Chicago, which was my layover. And my parents were toying with the idea of just not letting me go because they were really worried I was going to get stuck in Chicago. And I kept telling them, it's okay, everything's fine, I will be great, I'm 18, I can take care of myself, it's no big deal. And the day before I left, they decided to call it. And I was devastated. The world had ended. I didn't want to go on. It was, we've all been there in that place where it's just like, well, I might as well just end it here. Like, there's nothing left for me to live for. It was just very, very over dramatic. So that day that they decided to call it, I had to work. And don't be jealous, I worked at Cold Stone Creamery. Yes, it was pretty awesome. I was living the lush life, Anyway, so at work that day, I was just in it. And my mom called me on my break, and she said, I found out that they're having auditions at Six Flags Over Texas. You should go and audition. Go and, sing some songs and do some dances, and, maybe they'll hire you. And at that moment, it's the last thing I wanted to hear. It's like, Mom, I am not ready to audition professionally. I am not prepared. I don't want to do it. I'm not in that headspace. And she said, well, what else are you going to do? You going to mope around? You going to do nothing and just be sad about this whole thing? You're just going to go. You have nothing to lose. So I decided that, all right, well, I'm stuck here for the weekend, as if I was never ever stuck there, but yeah, apparently that was in my head. So I decided to go for it, and I was so ill-prepared that, and my mom will laugh about this, I didn't have anything for the dance audition, to wear. At that point, I didn't have my leotard and my tights, and I didn't have my point shoes or whatever. P.S. I never did point. But I didn't have any of that stuff. So I wore pajama set that was shorts and a little tank top, and it was Winnie the Pooh. I looked great. And so I went up and I did my dance audition, and I had just been getting over a cold, and so my nose was really runny. And so pirouettes, just so you know, in case if you're not a dancer, a pirouette is a turn. So I'm turning in that moment. Here's my arms and I'm turning, and when you turn, things like gravity pulls things, and it pulled snot out of my nose in that moment because I had lots of snot. So I ended up falling because I was trying, in the spin, I was trying to suck back the snot, and I ended up falling flat on my face, and I got right back up, and I just continued on, and I was doing my thing, and Who knows if I was really doing the dances or the dance moves right? I don't know. But I was ill-prepared and out of my comfort zone, and I ended up getting the job. Somehow I got the job. And that moment changed my life forever. You know, all of a sudden, this whole time, I had no idea what that path looked like. And there were tumbleweeds in the way. And it was almost like that storm wasn't just a storm. It was divine intervention, for sure. And that path became so clear. That storm brushed it all the debris away. And I knew exactly where I was going. And that moment took me here to where I am today, having the passion for the arts and performing and doing things that I never thought I would do. And so now, whenever there's a storm coming, or a storm brewing, I remember that they're beautiful, because even though there's, a threat of shaking things up or adding some sadness or some doubt or anger or frustration, after that storm passes, it is a beautiful new day with new adventures that I could have never imagined. Thank you.